If you believe the only options for disrespect are to swallow your pride or explode with rage, then your programming is a century out of date. You feel it in your chest. That hot spike when someone crosses a line, a snide comment in a meeting, a dismissive tone from someone you should be able to trust. And the modern world gives you two useless tools. One is the path of suppression. You swallow it. You let it fester. You tell yourself it is not a big deal. But the acid of that resentment corrodes your confidence over time. The other path is aggression. You lash out. You raise your voice. You meet their fire with a wildfire of your own. And in that moment, you lose. You confirm their caricature of you as uncontrolled. You hand them the victory. Both paths lead to exhaustion. Both paths strip you of your power. There is a third path, a forgotten one. One that does not require you to sacrifice your dignity or your control. It is time to remember it. The secret lies not in pop psychology, but in history, in the lethal etiquette of 19th century British aristocrats. These men understood honor. They also understood that true power was not in the attack, but in the response. The historical record is clear. In 1862, when an Irish MP challenged Sir Robert Peel after an insult in the Commons, the public did not praise the loudest man. They praised Peel for his restraint. This was the core of their psychology. Composure was a weapon. Politeness was not weakness. It was a shield that exposed the aggressor's lack of self-control. By remaining calm, a gentleman forced the insulter into a trap. The insulter had to either escalate to a formal duel, risking death, or apologize publicly, suffering immense shame. Their rudeness became a self-inflicted wound. This was the art of turning an attack back on the attacker, using nothing but dignity. Why does disrespect drain us so completely? It is not a failure of your willpower, it is a biological ambush. When you perceive a social threat, your amygdala, the primal alarm system in your brain, hijacks your rational mind. It screams fight or flight. It floods your body with cortisol and adrenaline. Your heart pounds. Your thinking becomes clouded. You are biologically primed for a physical confrontation that never comes. Meanwhile, society whispers a conflicting message. Be the bigger man. Turn the other cheek. This creates an internal war. Your biology screams for action, while your social conditioning demands inaction. This conflict is the source of your exhaustion. You are a high-performance machine running two competing operating systems. The duelists understood this primal wiring. They did not ignore it. They built a system around it. A third path that satisfied the biological need for response, while elevating it into a display of superior social status. They weaponized civility. We can reclaim this lost art. We can adapt it for the modern battlefield of the office, the family gathering, the negotiation table. I call it fatal courtesy. It is a three-step protocol. It begins before you ever say a word. Number one, the anchor of composure. When the insult is delivered, your first move is internal. You must consciously override the amygdala's scream. Take one deep, silent breath. Relax your shoulders. Unclench your jaw. And here's the key. Adopt a look of calm, detached curiosity. A slight, unreadable smile. This is not a smile of submission. It is a smile of control. The aggressor expects fear or anger. When you give them this calm curiosity instead, you create a pattern, interrupt. You seize control of the emotional landscape. They are expecting a brawl. You have just invited them to a chess match. And you are already 2 moves ahead. With your composure as your shield, you now make your first move. This is step 2, the polite inquiry. This is the modern equivalent of a gentleman dropping his glove. It is a formal, unmistakable signal that a boundary has been crossed. But its brilliance is in its subtlety. You do not accuse. You do not attack. You ask a simple, clarifying question in a tone of genuine curiosity. For example, I am not sure I fully understand what you meant by that. Could you please clarify? Or, That is an interesting choice of words. Can you explain your thinking there? The key is the delivery. Your tone must be completely neutral, almost academic. You are not asking for a fight. You are politely requesting that they take ownership of the words that just came out of their mouth. You are holding up a mirror and you are forcing them to look at their own reflection. Now comes the final move. Step 3, the transfer of shame. Your polite question has created a conversational vacuum, and they are now trapped inside it. They have only 2 ways out, and both are defeats. If they double down and repeat the insult, their aggression now looks crude, boorish, and uncontrolled to anyone watching. They have revealed their character. If they backtrack, stammer, or say, "It was just a joke," they have publicly conceded. They have admitted their attempt to disrespect you failed. Your job in this moment is to do nothing. Hold your calm, curious expression. Let the silence hang in the air. That silence is where the shame is transferred. Your composure becomes a high-definition mirror reflecting their lack of it. As the dueling codes of the 1820s made clear, the goal was not to get into a fistfight like the lower classes. The goal was to use etiquette to prove who the true gentleman was. They have just failed the test. And you did not have to throw a single punch. This is not about winning arguments. This is about reclaiming your honor without sacrificing your character. It is a forgotten art for the modern man who is navigating a world that has forgotten the rules of engagement. You are not exhausted because you are weak. You are exhausted from playing a game with the wrong rulebook. This technique is a tool. It requires practice. Start in low-stakes situations. A pushy salesperson, a mildly annoying relative. Use the 3 steps. Anchor your composure. Make the polite inquiry, and then hold the silence. Watch what happens. Observe the shift in the power dynamic. This is the code of the elegant surgeon. Precise, effective, and devastatingly respectful. This is your inheritance. It is time to take it back. Now,